Hello, Key Biscayne. It is January 13th, 2016, and this is your No One's Listening show. I'm your host, Rafa. To my left is Griff.
Hey.
To his left is Alexa.
Hi.
To her left is Anna.
Hi, I missed you. I was not here last week.
To her left is Tanner.
Good morning.
And to his left is Austin.
Happy hump day.
All right. We start off with trivia usually, but we don't have any. So we'll go right on to weekend talk. If you guys think of a trivia, let me know.
I looked for some. I had some good questions, but I couldn't find the answers. So
okay. Who wants to go first?
Anybody?
All right, I'll go.
Let's talk. Oh, go ahead.
On Friday, Anna called me up and she's like, "Hey, I want to have a drink." I was like, "Of course I want to have a drink too. It's Friday." So she picks me up, and actually Santi was there too, and he just went home. Oh no, because he had something going on. But anyway, we go to the Ocean Club bar, and we start drinking martinis, and then it's like one. Usually when it's martinis, I have one, and then I switch to something else.
I had to convince him to have the second one, and then after that it was easy.
Yeah, and it just kept going. And so 4 martinis, then we go back to Anna's, then Griff and Gato show up.
At 2:30 in the morning.
If you remember, Jonathan.
Are rolling into the back of my head, and I had a great night. Then on Saturday, we had this amazing weather and amazing beach day. We finally got volleyball going again on the Key, which is so nice. We all hung out at the beach club, like in the volleyball area by the end. In the morning, the low tide was amazing, and everything was just really nice. Then we had a birthday party for our friend Vic, who turned 30. Happy birthday, Vic.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Vic.
birthday.
Woo. Happy birthday, Vic.
And that was fun, and finally went to the cottage and had a dance party as opposed to just sitting around, which was cool. Sunday we did radio maintenance, and you may have noticed, if you're listening right now, that we are now on 101.1 FM. We had to switch because there was another station on our station.
Bastards.
Yeah, so now we're on 101.1. If you're listening, let us know, 305-361-8557. Let us know how we're sounding. Would love to hear about that. Okay, could somebody else talk?
Well, hello everybody. Let's talk about the death of David Bowie real quick. Man.
Oh, all right. I didn't.
Let's just dive right into that.
Okay.
What an icon, man. And it's funny, we were talking about it a little bit before the show started, and I saw this. It was a documentary that was on him a while back, and they were talking about the song Young Americans, and I had no idea that Luther Vandross was one of the backup singers for that song, and the documentary showed Luther Vandross, just young Luther with like this awesome all-star Motown crowd that, it was really cool how David Bowie came from Europe, came over here and like specifically wanted to record that song with Motown, and kind of combine Motown and rock. And to me, that is a very, very cool aspect that he had of combining Motown and rock together, which, to me, it's trying to combine music like that together. It's a very special talent. And, besides
that's David Bowie.
Look, you guys, if you've been hearing to this show, every time we do a music recommendation this whole year, I've been recommending Bowie. I've been listening to so much freaking Bowie. And when he died, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's just an amazing artist. I've said this already, but I'll just say it for the radio. The guy was ever present. He was always on the always on the cusp of things, but always pushing it forward. Always,
Changing,
evolving himself.
Oh.
And. Yeah, changing.
I got it.
Truly a mastermind.
Yeah, and so it's just so good. And listening to all the albums the other night, it was just so good.
And this is one fact that you'll never there was a Bill Murray movie. What was it called?
Are you talking about The Life Aquatic?
Caddyshack.
No. The one he was on the big boat.
The Life Aquatic with
yeah. So the Portuguese guy that plays guitar in the back, he's playing David Bowie.
That whole album's Bowie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that guy, the Portuguese guy that sits in the back
Brazilian
and plays guitar. All his songs are all David Bowie songs.
From a musically illiterate person, I really had no idea like what David Bowie had sang, what his music was, but I was shocked when I saw all the Facebook stuff and like how many
People he
people he
actually
touched and stuff
One of
like
the
that,
cool
so.
things I saw on Facebook was that, hey, the Earth has been around for billions of years. You're lucky enough to be around while David Bowie was alive.
Yeah.
I read that
was
too,
pretty
by the way.
cool, man.
Yeah.
I read that part of the article as well.
So on Monday, I called Rafa because since I know he's been on this like Bowie love binge this year, I said, do you want to come over and maybe we could play some Bowie and you could play some Bowie on the piano. I think it's just going to make you feel better. And he accepted and he came over and we ended up listening to 7 hours of Bowie nonstop, which meant that we listened to a lot of albums straight through without even talking to each other, like drinking, hanging out, but without even talking. And through listening 7 hours straight, nonstop, we were able to see the transitions, not only of, this chameleon character, but the music and the effect that he had on the period, especially, we didn't notice this before in the 90s. We listened to an album from 91, and then each song that would play, we're like, oh, wow, this sounds like this. This sounds like that. And it came before it. We're really familiar with 90s music, more so than other periods sometimes, and it was so clear that night. It was
What time
amazing.
did you guys get started?
Are you? Am I getting him in trouble?
Just curious. I'm doing math here from 5 to.
It was about 5:30 till 1 something.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
No, like hardcore, dude. If some of these
Hardcore, like
songs would
hardcore.
come on
Solid
and I
little
was like-
Monday.
Really got
Yeah.
into it, right?
yeah, like some of these songs would come on, they just hit so hard. I was just
There was dancing. There was like a little bit of almost crying.
yeah.
There was laying down on the floor. It was intense.
You guys should check out the new album. I mean, it seems like he put out the new album,
18.
saw all the reviews were awesome, and was like, okay, now I can die.
Mm-hmm.
And he dies the 3 days
It
after.
was definitely his.
It's crazy because, I think he put that album out while he had cancer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's been battling for 18 months. I'd be interested to know what kind of cancer he had.
He had liver
you know?
cancer.
He had what?
Liver cancer.
Those are the rumors.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a dead give. Oh, man.
Well, our softball captain texted Rafa about 5 minutes before the start of the game.
This is why I was saying.
Saying,
This is why I said at the
Rafa,
beginning.
where are you? Rafa said, something came up. Period. Radio silence, no other messages, that's it.
At that point,
With
we
a
were on our
response, it
second
better be
bourbon.
good. No response.
At that point, he was on his second bourbon.
Now we know the truth. But
I'm sorry, Ralph.
it's all right. You're allowed to miss a couple games.
So what else did anybody else do?
We all
This
hung
weekend.
out the whole weekend, so he already gave it away. Like we hung out at the beach.
I was at Vic's party. I went to a really cool restaurant Friday night. Opened up in the Gables. They have that Dine Under the Stars thing on Giralda, and it's pretty cool. So
what was the name of the restaurant?
Mer de Sur, something like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
They had fresh hogfish, which I didn't have, but it looked amazing, and exploring the Gables a little bit.
Yeah, no, the Gables, it's hard. You get stuck on the key, like it's hard to leave the key and go out and venture out and eat out, Like I say, I think the only restaurant I've eaten in the Coral Gables would be Swan, which is the same partnership up there with the Yardbird, But it's, still good food, For a Southern boy like me, it's hard to find fried chicken and, around and good pork. So,
Dan, I love this fried chicken, guys.
oh man, love some fried
Who
chicken.
doesn't?
But I'll have to give Andy a shout out too for Vic's party. His
Yeah.
He
cottage
did
looked
such a good job.
fantastic.
Man.
It was
Top
like
notch.
Lanyap in Midtown, except like 100 times cooler. It was really,
So it
really
was.
sweet.
He did
Sweet
such
vibe.
a
It
good
was
job.
I was really impressed.
And shout out to James for his DJing.
Oh yeah, DJ James. DJ James was killing it.
Hochi for grilling, man. He was
Oh,
like,
man.
4 hours.
That meat was fantastic, man. I bought some fish to the party. He's like, "You get that fish away from my grill right now, okay?"
It was a good time.
Yeah. But
Alexa, how about you? Anything?
I was in the Galapagos.
Oh,
Wow.
Tell us about
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Tell
way to
us
hold
about
that in.
We did the same old thing. You tell us about that. That's cool.
I went with 4 friends, island hopping all over the Galapagos. Right.
Yeah, like that.
And I don't know, we just hopped from hostel to hostel, island to island. We went hiking.
You see any blue-footed boobies?
We saw a lot of boobies.
Nice.
Yeah. We saw a giant manta. It was probably like, I want to say 20 feet wide.
That's crazy.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
But Alexa also hung out with me on the last day of the weekend, Tuesday, at the corner, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. The corner.
Yeah.
You can find Rafa and Anna.
I was not there this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was sad. Very
I was tired
very,
from the
very
Bowie celebration.
disappointing.
I don't know how Rafa made it. I was dying from the Bowie
Well, it's
celebration.
because our buddy Jesse was leaving, man,
Yeah, I
and
know.
you know, this guy played sax on the boat. We were so happy to have him, and then he's leaving to LA, so I wanted to go out there and just be like, let's see the last show, you know, as the band together, and it was good. I had a great time. Other cool things happened. It was cool.
Read some poetry.
Miami
Yeah.
to LA, man. That's
was
that's
good.
that's a switch in itself. You know, let's just go like going from one crazy world to another. You know?
Yeah.
To finish
Exactly.
off Weekend Talk, I actually went to the Mercado of San Miguel at Bayside. I spoke about it, before, and this time I did go, and it was good. They had tapas, they had good wine. All the waiters were pretty much Spanish, so it was pretty authentic with the music. I recommend people should go.
Cool.
I went there because I had a cousin come in from Spain.
So you took him to the.
So I took her to Wynwood. We did, the bars. We did a little bar hopping, and then I had some friends meeting up, and I was like, "Hey, you guys hungry?" And they're like, "Sure." I was like, "Look, I'm going to take you somewhere that's pretty familiar." And yeah, but they had a great time. And then on Saturday, I met up with everybody else and went to Andy's and did the party, and that was my weekend.
Hey, you're from Spain? You want me to take you to a cheap imitation of Spain? In
Pretty
downtown?
bad.
I knew that.
Well, that happened to me when I
man.
went to Ecuador. They took me to a Mexican restaurant.
It's like
That's hilarious.
But a lot of foreigners love Bayside, don't they? Like want to go? Or
I love Bayside.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh.
really?
I want to go to Bayside again. It's
I haven't
great.
been to
So-
Bayside in years.
it's like walking around Coconut Grove, man. I mean, to me, that's one of the. I love the Grove. Like walking around the Grove is.
I love the Grove, but I wouldn't compare it to Bayside.
No, I
Yeah.
No, no.
Bayside and the Grove are two different animals.
Soon, they're about
for
to
sure,
build
you know?
another Bayside down there.
This is still weekend talk. I'm throwing it in there. Jonathan met me on the beach in front of Key Colony on Saturday, and we're like, "Oh, we're hungry. Let's go eat. Shall we try puntino? Shall we cheat
Ooh.
on Lawrence, basically?"
Explain
How is
this
that?
Puntino.
Yes. I'm sorry. Puntino is has taken over the gazebo at the pool at Key Colony, and we used to all go to Las Olas, and it was the best vibe. And we went there, and we couldn't even go through with it. Like we got there, we looked at the menu, we looked at the people, we looked around. It's a tent. There's no cover. You would eat in the sun, and it just didn't feel right. So we left and walked over to the beach club
So
and
there's
ate there instead.
no more Patico special there?
No.
Oh, boo!
The beers are $5.
I had no idea about
I know.
that.
The
man.
beers are $5, and they have salads and paninis and pizza.
Oh,
No.
boo!
Like,
dude.
Boo
I'm
hiss.
at the pool, bro.
They tore down like
Give me
the,
choripan.
they tore down like the structure.
Yeah,
What was
they
it?
built a new
down
one, a temporary.
For what reason? Just
Man, they
because?
said there were cracks and problems.
It was condemned.
It was condemned, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
That-
falling apart.
Minor issues.
All right. Before we move on to what you're listening to, I wanted to mention that this guy. Remember when a couple weeks ago I mentioned that book I was reading, Infinite Jest, and how it was impossible to read.
Yes.
So somebody named MP left a comment on the website. I'm going to read it for you guys because I loved it. He says, if you're interested in more accessible David Foster Wallace, I'd start with some nonfiction, such as A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again, and short story collections, brief interviews with hideous men. Once hooked, you may circle back to Infinite Jest. I read and enjoyed it, but it was back in college when I had literally nothing to do but sit around, get high, chew tobacco, and read. And there were still some parts of it that I just didn't understand. Okay?
Wow. Any idea
So-
who MP is? or-
No idea.
Mariano
I saw that too, by the way, on the
But
website.
I was so I can't believe that somebody came out and said, "Yeah, I finished that book." I still haven't made any progress on it.
You're still on page 11, or what was it?
No, I'm like on page 80 some.
Intro.
But I'm gonna keep at it, and I'll report back when I have some results here.
I don't read too good, so I'm gonna stay away altogether.
It is Wednesday, January 13th, 2016. It is 6:45 p.m. This is the No One's Listening show, Rat Radio. 305-361-8557 if you want to call or text us about anything. And we just switched the station to 101.1 FM. So if you're listening to the recording or the thing, well, now you know if you want to tune your car radio. So let's go to, it's kind of, I don't even know if we need to do this section, but Well, I mean, what are you listening to?
Oh yeah.
I'm listening to Bowie. What the hell am I gonna listen to?
I second that.
Come on, no, you sound like the Portuguese guys off the back of that boat. Man.
None.
Sorry, man.
Stop. Okay.
It's Brazilian, Tanner.
I'll-
It's Brazilian.
He's
I'll-
a Brazilian? I thought he was
Yes.
Portuguese.
His name,
man.
for whoever's listening, his name is Sewage. It's an amazing album.
Yeah.
That's
And to be honest-
I am George in English for you guys, right?
Seu? No, it's like a saying
Oh.
mister. It's like saying mister.
So-
And Seu also means yours, but yeah, it's complicated.
So what are you
But
guys listening to?
Jorge's George.
I'm listening to all the Bowie. I guess I'll recommend Black Star again. I did it already. Station to Station. What did I listen to today? There's just so much.
I listened to the SoundCloud you sent me of Gabriel singing.
The guy from Jacuzzi
Heroes.
Boys
Yeah,
did
yeah,
a
yeah.
Heroes cover, which is great. What else? Memory of a Free Festival. Amazing.
Man Who Sold the World.
Man Who Sold the World. That Anna didn't know it was a cover.
I
You really
freaked
dove
out.
deep into some Bowie that night, didn't you, pal?
That's like one of my favorite Nirvana songs. And then
Well,
it came on. Freaked
what
out.
I listened to was something I hadn't heard before, and I found it off Vine, the application, and it's Donald Byrd. The song is called Change, and I went through 2 of his albums in the late 70s, and it was phenomenal. I recommend it.
What kind of music?
It's jazz, but it has kind of a Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of beat to it, and it's actually really good. Recommend it. Anybody else?
Cool. Anyone else listen to anything this week?
Wolfpeck? Is it?
Wolfpack is around.
Yeah,
been
Rafa sent me a
listening.
link today. It was
Oh, I was going to say,
The
you've been listening to the
Vulfpeck.
show.
Yeah. She said
Yeah.
you like funk, so I was like, oh, yeah.
I love
you gotta
funk.
hear Vulfpeck.
I guess like as you get older, you start to not listen to more new music. You kind of go backwards and listen to stuff that you kind of. So
Missed.
I've been on this David Allan Coe
Wow.
Grateful Dead jag the past like 2 or 3 months, man, and it's been. With iTunes, it's so cool because you really can dive deep into iTunes and really find stuff that you had no idea even existed. But it's music is definitely a lot. Think of a day where we used to put CDs into our car,
Imagine cassettes.
and oh man, I was a big cassette guy back in the day. Let me tell you.
I think we've talked about this. Yeah, cassettes and making the radio thing, and then the guy's voice comes on, and you're like, oh no, stop the track.
Oh, yeah.
While
when
you're
you had
recording off the radio.
I would tape Power 96. And whenever they would come on, it was like, okay, it's a press
You
stop.
would tape the radio?
Yeah.
People do that.
Hell
People
yeah.
Yeah,
definitely
you
do
make your
that.
own mix on the thing, and then you know exactly like how long your tape is and when the song is about to start. It becomes like second nature to fast forward to the one that you want.
Wow.
I
I
would tape
remember
the
all
radio.
that.
That's pretty
So I've been hearing all you guys talk about Bowie, so I'm like thinking, what's the one Bowie song that comes to
Yes.
mind for me? And completely wrong, but I thought of Biodome, We Can Dance, Dance, Dance If We Want To, which is not David Bowie.
Okay.
It's Men at Work.
No, it's not meant at work
No?
either.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
Young
started listening to
Americans. I
that,
know you've
right?
heard it, Austin. Like,
So I YouTube that, which got me really pumped at work, and then that threw me down like an '80s hole of watching '80s YouTube videos. So it's pretty good, but it started with "We Can Dance, Dance, Dance If We Want To."
No, but that song's called The Safety Dance.
Oh yeah, and who sings it?
Can't make up
by
the title.
Minute Work.
Safety Dance is by
Men at Work.
That's
not
what I
Men at
said.
Work.
Rafa said no.
Yeah.
Men at Work are the guys who do
They did. Men at Work was an Australian band.
Yeah.
They did.
they don't do Safety Dance.
They did it. I
Come
listened
from
to
a
it today.
land
by
down
Men at
under,
Work.
and
They did
Yeah,
land
Down
under.
Under. That's what they do.
yeah, and they also had Who Can It Be Now?
Yeah.
that was big. I was a big fan.
So
of
they're
that
pretty
song.
good.
Men Without Hats.
I'm an '80s kid, by the way. Can you tell?
Oh man,
Men Without Hats
80s,
do the Safety
80s music
Dance.
for me is still gets me going.
Oh man.
All right. Anybody else? Anna, you have yours or no?
I'm just loving Bowie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I mentioned it on the last show of the year when we said what we were listening to. I might have mentioned Aladdin, Sane, the whole album. So I had a moment. Rafa actually sent it to me, and I, for some reason, got into it this year and would not stop listening to it for like 2 months.
Yeah, that's where it started. Like,
It was like in April. I remember it was April.
yeah,
because
and
my
I was.
cousin wasn't.
That's where I was like, I don't know why. I think I was like, oh, well, I've heard Ziggy Stardust 100 times. Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, the album, and that's like the only one I'm really familiar with. Like, going. And I was like, let me find what Bowie did after that. And so it took me to Aladdin Sane, which is, you've probably seen the pictures this week when he thinks he's on the front. He's It's like a crop from his torso up, and he's got no shirt on. It's white on. He's really pale
White on
white,
white.
and he's got the
bolts.
the lightning bolt painted on his face. And so that's the album. It's really good because it's very accessible because it's really just rock. I mean, it's pretty much pure rock. I mean, it gets a little zany. It gets it's Bowie, but it's not like really out there. It's still like rock and roll.
It's so good.
Yeah,
The
it
last
is.
song on that album is my favorite. What is it called? Lady Grinning Soul. So good. They're all good, whatever.
And you changed tones to his acting career in Labyrinth, which to me that movie scared me to
Labyrinth
death
was
when I was a
Aren't
kid.
you an 80s kid? Don't you love
Yes.
Labyrinth?
I loved it, but it scared me. I'm sorry. Like, he was the Goblin King.
Yeah.
Was he in Silverman, Saving Silverman too? Wasn't that, or was that?
He was in
someone else?
Zoolander.
No.
Jones.
His best
Zoolander.
work. Wait a minute. Can somebody say dance off?
Zoolander. Yeah,
Come on now. He will always be the king of the dance off. All right.
Yeah.
Like
That was great, dude.
that. Like him, and when he popped up in Zoolander, that blew me away, man. Because that already, that movie. I'm sorry if you don't like Zoolander, you're a communist, but like that movie was hilarious, and the fact that David Bowie was in it made it even better.
Yeah. Real fitting for him.
So Zoolander 2 coming out soon.
Yeah.
Garbage. Okay. Let's move on to Talk of the Town. Woo! I don't know. So, something happened,
On the
and
key.
it's not good. And I'll tell you what it is. It's that you cannot get fresh Mammoth Georgia pecans anymore. Because the KB Women's Club just doesn't have them. They only do it for Christmas. So if you missed your chance to get fresh Mammoth Georgia pecans, $12 a pound, it's too bad.
When it happens.
But I still have a bag, and I still have to bring it. I have to bring it out here. I'll bring it out next week. Hopefully Manny's here, and we'll get the Mammoth Georgia pecan.
I know this is radio, but Rafa's face got so excited when he said, I still have a bag.
Yeah.
His eyes opened wide.
But guess what, people? I'm holding.
Okay. The Calusa Club is having a scavenger hunt this Friday, January 15th, at the Key Biscayne Beach Club at 7:30 p.m. If you want to participate, you might want to check the Calusa Club Facebook for the event. The Calusa Club is me and Griff and a couple other people. And so I'm spearheading this event, and you should get out there. We get on golf carts, we drive around the key, you take pictures at landmarks and trying to find objects and stuff like that, and it's going to be a really good time. So I hope you come out. If you don't find a team and you can't do it, we still have a party at the beach club. It's $20. Get out there. We'll have food. I think we're gonna get Cazzola's pizza. Whole thing. It's gonna be good.
Awesome. I got a team.
Yeah.
We're working on a team name yet. We haven't got it, but
The last time we did this was so long ago. There definitely were no iPhones. So now I feel like it's going to be so easy.
Yeah. Now it's with iPhones.
We had to like charge the camera and like get it. I don't know how we plugged it in. I don't know whose TV we
It's
watched.
funny because I'm gonna have to send a thing to people that says like, number one, make sure you have storage on your phone because a lot of people always ride like right at the limit.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to take it might take like 100 pictures or something. And then the second thing is like make sure you're using a phone that the judges can actually flip through all these pictures without
That's a good
stumbling
idea, yeah.
on your personal.
And dick pics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's on the radio.
I mean, as a judge, I don't care what you have on your phone, but you might be embarrassed that I saw it. I mean, I really don't care.
If you have embarrassing pictures.
Yeah. So get out there. Calusa Club on Facebook. Check it out.
looking forward
Friday.
to that. That's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I had a quick question on that. Is there any regulations against the gems, which are the upgraded golf carts?
No, there's not. You can use one of those.
We're gonna crush it.
What the hell is a jam?
Yeah, what
like
is
the
that?
electric ones that are
The one that looks
the
like a
bigger
smart
one.
car?
Yeah.
Mm.
Boo.
Well,
Huge advantage.
Roman still has the fastest golf cart on the key.
Really?
Is that your team person?
Not yet.
Oh.
So last week it was reported there was raw sewage in the ocean, and a bunch of Key residents called and were like, "Oh no, there's raw sewage," and then the Key sent out a thing hey, don't go in the water because it seems like there's raw sewage. We talked about it on the show, and actually Bobby confirmed that it wasn't actually sewage from the sewage plant, but they still didn't know. We thought it might have been a tanker or something like that. Well, it turns out that it was just seaweed. It was seaweed that had, it was like, what's the word? It was like molding or deteriorating, exactly. And it gave off like a stench, but it was perfectly safe. So,
We've
all
been
those
in the
jokes.
water so much.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
That's why you didn't get
You
an
have
ear
to
infection.
think about this.
That's
Like
exactly
the
why.
raw sewage that comes into the ocean off Miami is not in a hard form. It's in a liquid form. You know, it just pumps right into the ocean. It's not going to come up looking like Mr. Hanky or anything. You know? It's basically just got sewage. Like obviously the people in Miami that pump sewage into the ocean are smart enough not to put huge logs out on. You may see that on Master Flats, but you're not going to see it on the ocean. The ocean side would basically just be, it is pumped into the ocean in a liquid form and it dissipates in the seawater. So the seaweed.
I pump it into the toilet in a liquid form, too.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a girl I used to date. Her nickname was Seaweed.
Oh.
Don't know where. Show now.
Yeah, it's actually great. I was actually in Colombia and I was able to.
Wait, hold on. Now, just for the recording, we lost power, and now we're back on the recording. So I guess we can take it from there. What were we talking about?
It sounded like a mayday.
Seaweed on the beach.
Seaweed on the beach.
Okay, so wait, let me just say that it is
Raw sewage.
it's Wednesday, January 13th, 2016. This is the No One's Listening show, Key Biscayne Rat Radio stuff. 101.1 FM now. All right, so sewage. There's no sewage.
There's no sewage.
And the other thing that draws a point is the Key was paying a lot of money to get all that seaweed taken off the beach. I'm not sure. I live right next to the beach. I wish I could go there more often, but the sargasso grass that actually washes up on the beach is actually a form of beach nourishment in a sense because it traps the sand. It's a natural thing, and this is a kind of a cool point. The grass that we saw on the beach this summer, there was a lot of it, and it's more than most people have seen. It's a result of the fact that the Japanese, the world basically said the Japanese cannot harvest any more of the sargassum grass that's in the ocean. So we're going to see a lot more grass coming through in these currents and on the beach and stuff because naturally the grass is there to, support wildlife and, it grows shrimp, it grows dolphins, or mai-mais. But it's also the other fact is the fact it's going to wash up on the beaches. Like in the Dominican Republic, St. Thomas, and all throughout the Caribbean, guys I know down there told me that it was the worst they've ever seen. And yes, it smells horrible.
It smells really bad.
Yes, it smells awful.
Yeah.
But it's also what traps the sand and makes the beaches bigger. So it's a natural process, and I mean, I know the Key was paying, there was a company that was coming in and taking all the grass off on a daily basis, because they kind of have to do that to let people be able to go on the beach,
Yeah.
So it's a two-way street on that one, it's either let the beach grow or, take the grass off so everybody's happy.
Sewage is kind of a natural process if you think about it.
Especially when you have millions and millions and millions of people.
All right, moving on. Talk to us about the pitas.
Oh, Pita Pocket. Has anyone been there?
Nope.
I have run into Theo twice there.
Where is it? Where is
Okay.
it?
The Domino's Mall. I don't know what that's. The arcade. The arcade.
No. Oh,
No,
okay, yeah,
the
the
arcade?
arcade.
Yeah, the arcade. It's where it used to be. It was a Chinese place for a second, but nobody ever went there.
It was horrible.
Which
But it was
Chinese
a
place?
French place before that.
Oh, okay.
Where?
Okay.
At the end.
At the end.
The French place was actually cool. It just
I know.
really overpriced.
Next to
Yeah.
Really,
next to
really
Domino's?
expensive, but good.
But good. It was a good restaurant. So, but then after
that's right next to Vito's, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit
Yeah.
further down from
Okay.
Vito's.
Next to Vito's.
Which speaking of Vito's, I have not been to Forks yet, so I'm gonna Pita Pocket review.
What's
I
the-
liked it.
So what did you eat at the Pita Pocket?
I've gone twice. I once got what did I get? Oh, a fattoush salad with a side of chicken, and it was awesome. And the guy was, it was the second day he was open. He was giving me everything on the side so I could try it. Falafel and different kinds of
a
sauces.
good service.
And
Did he,
tabbouleh.
did he know
The
you
guy's
were a
awesome.
rep for a radio station?
He doesn't know. I should tell him.
Did he?
Yeah,
We should get some. And then yesterday I went and I had a chicken kebab with lentil rice and salad and falafel again. It's good, man. It's good. It's not like it's. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like when I go off the key on purpose to go eat the daily bread off of US 1 and 24th. It's not that, but it is good, and it's fast, and it's open till 11 p.m. every day.
Cool.
Ooh.
Booyah.
Did you guys hear that Mondo Pasta got shut down for a day?
What? Why? For food?
For food
stuff?
violations, there was roaches on the premises, and the manager had no idea how to deal with foodborne illnesses.
Interesting.
So they shut it down for a day. I saw it on Channel 10.
Very
Oh, wow.
interesting. Wow. Made
Channel
headline
10
news.
has a great segment where they actually keep up with restaurants and their health grades or reports, and this is one of them.
Mondo's a franchise. I think they have it off the key too.
Honestly, if the food's good, 90% of the time I just don't care what's going on.
I'm with Rafa.
You know, I just eat it. Like at the
I'm with
Oasis, I used to go when it was grimy as hell, and whatever.
You go to any other city that's like a food city, New Orleans, New York. There's roaches and rats all over the place, dude. Look the other way.
I'm okay with roaches.
But wait, can we go back?
You get like rat poop all over the place.
Yeah.
That's not
Okay.
good. You know, like you're using that fork that you don't know where it's been, and it's
We have to have some kind of.
What can I ask you? Wait, can we go back to the pitas because I wanted to ask. Does he have like lamb? A lot of lamb stuff.
He does, yeah, shawarma. They're like rotating.
Is he?
Oh, he has the rotator.
Yeah, he's the rotator.
Oh yeah, I
I
gotta
wish
go
it was
over there.
What I wish is that it was open till like 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that thing is the best thing when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Is there any place, like any restaurant in Key Biscayne that's open that late?
yeah.
Till
It's called
11?
7-Eleven.
No,
Oh,
obviously.
totally.
But other than
Get
that,
you a
No.
taquito.
That's it.
No, that's
7-Eleven's a one.
There's your
Yeah,
new idea.
Shame G-Man's not here. He's a connoisseur of the
The 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven
Oh man,
Options and
gourmet.
menu.
it's funny, man. That 7-Eleven. It's like you think about like, look how many people at 4 or 5 o'clock are in line to get the junk food that is on that conveyor.
Hey, sandwiches are good there.
sandwiches are good.
the pizza's not bad. I mean,
The hot dogs
Yeah,
and the
I've
tacos
I've heard,
are-
and this is what I've heard.
if you get them to cook you a pizza,
Are we
I've heard this
reviewing
from
the food at 7-Eleven?
workers. They tell me they're like, we would rather eat this than go home and eat
Just
my
get a
wife's
Hot
cooking.
Pocket.
So they
That's rough.
they
That's rough.
like completely belly upped on like taquitos and like all that crap, and then they go home and like they basically take the meal that their wife made them and they take it to lunch the next day.
That's
That
interesting.
just blows
You know-
me away, man. Yeah, this is straight from Key Biscayne workers.
All right.
who owns the 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
No?
I don't know.
Yeah. They're all
it-
privately owned, right? They're all
No,
franchised?
they're all franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, once Rafa showed me a video of 7-Eleven in like, I don't know what city it was, like in the 70s?
In the 80s.
In the 80s? In California?
in Orlando.
In Orlando. And it was one of the cooler videos, that I've seen. And yesterday I was at the 7-Eleven and they had like straight up like bachata music playing at 7-Eleven, and I wanted to make a video, and I was like, fuck it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the first curse I do in 4 months. That's a big deal for me.
You said dick earlier tonight.
Yeah, well, that's not a curse word. But, or is it?
No, it's
But
not.
I think we
This is
should
a
do
family network,
but we
okay?
should do a little. I don't think they let you video at 7-Eleven. I tried in Shanghai once and they denied me. But maybe here we can, and make videos of different 7-Elevens and the music they play.
I remember
and
seeing
the
that
food,
video.
Like pan de
Okay.
bono at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, they have pan de bono, empanadas. Like,
Yeah, they're not gonna
like,
have that in the
burritos de
7-Eleven in
queso.
Detroit.
Okay.
Pan de bono.
So in that 80s, you look it up on YouTube, guys. You put like 80s 7-Eleven, and it's these kids that walk in with a camera on their shoulders, like one of those,
Like
the
the
Large
Cam-
Sony
large
cameras.
set cameras. And they walk in and they start interviewing people. Like they seem like they're drunk, but they're like too young to be drunk almost. Like
Yeah.
they're just in a 7-Eleven late night, just interviewing the people that are in there, and everybody is fine with it. The thing is, now with the culture of like video and internet, I think people would be much more freaked out. Like
Yeah,
back then,
right.
it was like, oh, these stupid kids are making this video, they're gonna take it home,
Yeah,
whatever.
you could put it anywhere.
Now it's like, oh, why are you filming me?
I'm gonna be on television.
Yeah,
like,
it's like all this stuff, and
absolutely.
people
Yeah.
get worried about like liability and all that stuff.
I know.
You should watch this video. It's really
That
fun
video
though.
made it on.
The innocence is gone.
20 years.
Yeah.
That's
That video's
hilarious.
great, by the way. I saw it and it was awesome.
That's
Yeah.
like It's like if you ever get a chance, YouTube Patrick Swayze and Pabst Blue Ribbon. Patrick Swayze did an ad for Pabst Blue Ribbon back in the late 70s, early 80s. Man, it's the wildest thing you ever see. Just Google it. I swear to God, it is hilarious. It's
Sounds good.
It's Patrick Swayze getting ready for a night out in the town, and he's drinking Pabst and going to a disco. Man, just look it up, man.
All
But-
right.
I think I heard the secret purchaser of Mashta was the Pabst Blue Ribbons guy.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
The peninsula?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Those are rumors. Hey.
Sold for 40.
Is it true? And is it true LeBron James has a property here too?
No,
No,
rented.
He tried to buy a house. Didn't work out.
No.
Okay.
Didn't find life in the key was for him, huh?
Moving on.
Talk of the town still.
So yeah, we're still on one more thing. I guess that I'll bring up is that the Islander had an editorial this week about texting and driving about this woman that on December 18th, 88-year-old woman was going back home from church. I think at St. Christopher's. I'm not sure, but she was crossing Crandon, and she got hit by a texting driver, and she had multiple fractures and was taken to Jackson. And this happened broad daylight. And the driver was cooperative and everything. That was no problem. But first, this never made the news, really, I think, because she didn't die. Because I guess they just didn't think it
That's not
pertinent,
valid.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely not that.
But the person was actually on their phone. And so when I first heard this news, I think I talked to you, and I was like, how many times have you guys been driving off the key or anywhere, really, and you see a car kind of swerving in their lane, and they may be going a little slower than normal, and then you pull up next to them and they're on their phone, and you're just like, oh my God, you're gonna kill somebody. So this lady almost killed somebody.
It's terrifying, Raf. Man, I see it every day just because my cousin, he was in a really bad car accident where he was texting and driving. And this was right when texting first came out, and he was in a huge car accident, should have been paralyzed, but somehow he, managed to come out of it. So it's something that's it's been in my mind for the past 10 years. And I see it every single day around Key Biscayne of people just
Happens everywhere.
so careless driving, not looking at their phones, not and this is a small island, and the safety part of the island is what is so attractive about it, So now it's getting scary that the fact that you can't even ride
Can't even go to church.
you can't even go to church. Exactly. And it's really it's scary.
I don't know.
You look at the way people drive, especially on Sunday or on the weekend and stuff, in the mornings and stuff. Obviously with the crash we had, but
I got traffic twice today. I'm cranky about it.
What, at 4 o'clock?
Dude, there's so many
Around
traffic.
5, I picked up Rafa. Maybe I
What
got
time does the traffic
twice.
start here? Around 4?
3:30 because I think
Yeah.
school gets out.
School gets out, huh?
yeah, 3 o'clock is not a good time to be driving.
No.
But I think the problem also is that the fact that they put the sun pass brings the traffic here.
You think it's made a
No.
difference? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, I
That's-
think.
you
I
think
mean,
so?
they just
Everything easier.
they moved
Because it
the
used to be
bottleneck down. before,
Oh.
all the traffic used to be there, and us Q-rats would be able to take the C-Pass and just
Yeah.
skim by it.
That makes sense that there was a bottleneck there, and it kind of let people in slowly. And then,
But how about the
but now
traffic leaving the
bottlenecks,
queue?
huh?
Traffic leaving the queue.
Well, those are just
Well, that's
it's
just
its own thing.
I don't know.
That's a different.
I have a little key traffic story. It's not even a big deal. But I saw a crash on Crandon. I think it was on Sunday. And how the hell are you crashing on Crandon, dude?
Looking at your phone.
Because
in
you're
front
texting
of
and
Galen.
driving.
In front of Galen. And it was a Mini and some other small car, whatever. And I thought the lady had just touched the back of the car a little bit. I look when I'm driving by. She had scraped the entire side of the Mini. I'm like, you're in Crandon? What are you doing?
That's a
You're
rough day.
swerving because you're looking at your phone. It's exactly
Whatever.
it.
Well, while I have the mic, I want to give a shout out to a friend, Marco. You're listening? What's up? What's up, Marco?
Who's Marco?
yeah, who's
He was
that?
one of the Pinta interns.
Oh, okay.
He was
cool.
super cool.
Oh, yeah, I met
Remember
him.
when I went
Yeah, he
out to
was
the
a cool guy.
ASAP Rocky album release party?
All
But
right. Well,
back
hey,
He was one of
Marco.
the interns. He was awesome. Yeah, Rafa met him. He's a cool guy.
Talking
Kira.
about accidents on Key Biscayne, think about how many unreported accidents go down in the Winn-Dixie parking lot on a daily basis.
Oh, I had an unreported accident there. Some
Oh,
guy hit me. Some old guy hit me, and luckily there was no damage. But I was like, he was like in a rush to get out of there, like
Oh, they all
like
are.
a shady.
They all are.
person
Okay,
would
they
be.
have their grass-fed organic hot dogs. They are en route to go home and make those hot dogs. Okay.
And the guy hit me, and luckily there was no damage. So I was like, yeah, okay, I don't need to do anything. But he wanted to get out before I could even look at my car, and he was like trying to leave. I'm like, where are you going, man? You're not going
Where are you
anywhere.
going, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
you look
and
at,
I
like,
assessed it, and I was like, okay, we're fine.
You
Again,
look at
I don't know how he hit me because he was. I don't remember exactly the
You look at
details.
half the vehicles in Key Biscayne, and like maybe not half, but a lot of them. You go through these parking lots and you look at them; they all have huge damages on their car, and it's like, I guess that did not get reported to the insurance agency because, anyway.
Phones are deadly. I agree. I almost hit a kid today backing out of 7-Eleven. I wasn't
Whoa.
texting, but I was on my phone, and it was like, it went to the Bluetooth, and then it went back to my regular phone, so I was kind of fumbling around. And I had looked behind me, but 1 second later, there's a kid behind me.
Austin.
Well, I consider myself pretty good. Like, I try not to text and drive, but, I do sometimes. I can't imagine people that, like, do it all the time. But, I mean, it's definitely before texting, people were complaining about drinking coffee and driving was dangerous.
Changing the radio station.
Right?
Anything. Putting your cassette tape in there.
Try driving a huge pickup truck around Key Biscayne, man. It is
Just
hilarious.
Take Uber all the time.
I love it,
Just use Key-Ride. That's
Uber.
it.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, I have a piece of crap golf
Key-Ride
cart
is
that
where
I
to go.
specifically
Is it free?
bought because it was a piece of crap. And I leave it in public parking. And it gets demolished in public parking. I mean, like, people back into this thing all day long. It is awesome. And
Hey, it's a big truck. I want to give a shout out to Q-Ride. They're doing a great job. I used it last weekend. Great service, on time. You just got to text them, call them, use them. It is free
So
on the
give
key.
the number.
we should get the, I looked it up tonight. It was in the paper that I had
tips are
somewhere around
recommended.
here, man. I was going to put that on there, man.
But it's a great service.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Sounds like an awesome
It's
service. I'm all for it.
786-361-8657. You can text them, and they will come pick you up.
And the way I read it, it's free, and tips are way appreciated. They run on tips, so because
because they get paid $5 an hour. 786-361-8657.
oh, well, that's what the paper said. Sorry.
786-361-8657 for the key ride. 305-361-8557 if you want to call us right now and tell us that you're listening.
If you don't tip them, it's okay, though, because all their parents are loaded.
Austin.
Austin is on a roll.
So
No? Sorry.
the last piece of news, I guess, because it's not the last piece, but it's the only thing that sounds kind of fun. Is I'm sure you've heard that the lottery is at $1.5 billion. Okay, and if you won and you took a lump sum, you're not going to get that, but it's still a lot of money. So I'm wondering, what would you do if you won that $1.5 billion?
Leave.
I heard that
Come
one
back later.
earlier this
Come
week.
back later.
Leave the country because you don't want to get taxed.
Oh, I was not
Oh.
saying that, but
Well, that's
You're
what
gonna
we
get
were
taxed.
saying.
You're gonna get taxed either way.
they know who you are.
That's what somebody was saying. I'm just
No, I meant leave like on a trip.
repeating.
On a permit.
For a year.
Okay, but so the dust is settled. It's 2 years later. You won that $1.5 billion. You took home $550 million
Wow.
after taxes and lump sums. What do you do? What do you? Give me some dreams. Don't give me some realism.
I'll
I don't
give you a
care about.
dream.
I don't care about.
I'm going to put a
realistic ideas.
Bojangles on Key Biscayne. It's going to be fantastic.
There you go.
I've dreamed about this, for sure, from a Key Biscayne perspective. And now that I'm married, my wife probably has other dreams for me. But Mashta Point, the one that just sold, I dreamed of buying that, knocking down that monstrosity, putting a little house there, making it like a dinner club, right? Like just a little club. Buying a couple properties around it, making like a croquet course and
Ooh.
ultimate
Wow,
frisbee
awesome.
Getting
course.
fancy, huh?
And just making it like,
Cat K style.
if
yeah.
you're an old school key rat and you can prove it, family lineage or time spent here, it's like a $10 a year, fee.
Oh, man.
$10.
And just like a little house with like the best chef in the world, beers, and awesome food on the.
I
on
want
the plane.
Austin
like
to
it.
win
Oh,
the
yeah.
lottery.
That is super cool,
Anthropies.
Austin.
Why not? It's
I hope Austin
and
wins
that only
tonight.
runs you like $100 million.
Yeah, really. Not even. Well, no. Yeah, you got to buy the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It's like I would set up a club. I'd get us a clubhouse for the Calusa Club, which would be
Fantastic.
a lot like the yacht clubs inside, I guess, but somewhere else. And it would just be a great place to hang out. That would be my contribution to the thing. I didn't go as far as to dream to make it at that house, but that's a good dream.
I like Austin's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin, I gotta say that's a fantastic. I'd never even thought about that, but because I'd point that house is a monstrosity.
I've got it planned out towards board
Dude,
members.
fantastic,
and
man. I hope you win
how to
tonight just for
blackball
that
people
reason,
and
man.
and, like, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. It's like, nah, you're not coming in. You're not in this club. No way.
Oh, and you have to buy some affordable housing, like buy Galen or something.
Oh,
Some nice condos, and then like
how's all the
charge
key
your
rats?
friends like a couple $100 months of rent for like a really nice apartment.
Yeah, we were talking about this. The make a low-income housing for people who contribute to the key and the community.
Or
So
how about
that
like
if
the
you can
people who grew
prove
up
that
here?
you did no, that's not good enough because there's a lot of there's a lot of people who wouldn't do anything.
No,
but if
sir.
you can prove that you are an asset to the community, you get an apartment for less than market price, and so that
I
way you
agree,
can
man.
stay.
I think the one thing, since I didn't grow up here, my wife did, and she painted a totally different picture of Key Biscayne before we moved here. And I gotta say, man, it is a shame that the people that grew up here and that can't afford to live here, because it's so expensive, and it is a true travesty in my opinion, because it's not really what this island was developed on,
Yeah, exactly. So, what would you guys do with 1.5?
I would buy American-made companies, companies that manufacture American products. That's what I would do. Just buy companies. That's what I would do.
I'd go back to school
Indefinitely.
and get a PhD. And I'd get a PhD in so many things. You guys don't even know.
Dr. Silva.
Dr. Silva is coming out.
Oh Lord.
I'd probably just travel the world.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be a lot of that.
There'd be a
Definitely.
lot of traveling.
On a cruise on the Silver Seas.
A cruise or like your own private cruise?
Yeah, right?
With like your whole like entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. You employ all your friends.
I have to say, I got in a text message thing today with one of my best friends from Philadelphia. He's like, so if you win, you're going to split this with me, right? I'm like, no, dude. I want to be very clear that I'm not going to, because I just read an article on how like a lot of winners get sued by all their friends and all these people because they make verbal contracts saying like, yeah, if I win, I'll give you $1 million. And then they win, and then they don't, and then their friends are all suing them and stuff. So
Yeah.
we got in this
horrible.
funny
Bad idea
funny
genes
connections,
right
like-
there.
I
It
once
was,
told you guys here,
hilarious.
I played and I was like, if I win, Rat Radio is going to get this amount. It's all going to Rat Radio. And
Exactly.
Rafa was like, be careful.
It's recorded.
Like, are you sure?
Yeah. So I just want to be clear. My dream, it's a dream. If I do win, I'm not committing to do that.
If you don't make the club,
Yes.
we're suing you.
I was thinking about this. Like, even if we get, like, even without the lottery, if we managed to get a place for the radio that wasn't at this place, I wonder, like, it would definitely be the end of an era, like, coming out here instead of being, being in a different place, a garage or whatever, and then coming out here. There's something about this, and it's like, oh, man, you're going to end that. But at the same time, it's like the logical progression of things, and you'd have to do it,
Everything has their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have actually thought about that as well. And minus the lottery, if I had become very successful or do become successful, I thought establishing like, a Key Biscayne museum would be, a history museum would be
There we go.
awesome. And then establish the radio show inside that like museum. That would be a pretty
Hell
That'd be
yeah.
pretty
cool.
cool spot to do the radio,
Austin, you're full of great
Key
ideas.
Biscayne
man.
Museum.
It definitely
post
needs
up-
to happen, Austin, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of money or not, man, I think, like, because Key Biscayne as a community is losing a lot of, the money and everything that's coming in there, which is great. But, the sense of community is definitely dwindling. So
It's changing. It's
Not really.
changing.
We're coming back.
It's a different type of community.
Yeah, I don't think if you look for it, it's there. It's not the same as it was, but it's there.
There was
Right.
You really have to give an
But
effort,
not-
that's for
not
sure.
so
That's why you
much
got to come
that, but
out
I
to the
was saying with
scavenger
Austin,
hunt.
like with
Exactly.
the history part of it, like I think there has to be some kind of preservation of history. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if any.
Tanner, you got to buy a Mackle house, and you got to fill it up with all these things and all the trinkets.
I'll sit there in that museum and I can just be an exhibit. Hey, I am.
I thought about it. Rafa's going to be on the full-time payroll.
Yeah.
Let's get a wax figure of Rafa.
Museum arbitrary.
I'm an old P-rat.
What are they
A
called?
wax
I mean,
Rafa.
'cause you look at a lot of these places on the East Coast, man. I studied this in school, man. Like a lot of these small fishing communities, you know, from Hatteras down to here, like that get bought out, you know, because the waterfront property is so, you know,
Coveted.
sought after, you know. But if you take the traditions and culture out of it, you just have a bunch of houses there, you know. And so, you know, the culture is a
Yeah.
huge part
A
that
huge
needs to
part.
be sustained, for sure.
So that's what we could spend the $1.5 billion on.
Preservation of culture.
Yeah.
All right.
I was actually. Oh, so I've thought about this. It's like, how much would it cost to buy out everybody at the Ocean Club?
Oof.
And the logistics come out
lot.
to, I think, something like, if you paid like $800 million, which you couldn't do with this lottery, which is funny. You'd have to be even richer than that. If you paid like $800 million, you could take control of like half of it, and then make it unbearable for everybody else that stays. And so then they don't want to live there anymore because you are controlling power, and then you get them all to leave. You rent out all the places that you bought to obnoxious people that nobody wants to live with, and for really cheap. And then everybody leaves, and then you tear it down, and then you have some kind of situation.
When you
Rough.
say obnoxious people, who are we talking about here? Because
Like
you know,
college students, like frats and
yeah,
stuff, you
man.
fill it up like
Bro,
that.
more than half those people are snowbirds. They're not going to be bothered. They're
Oh,
not
they
here.
will be
They're not
bothered.
here. They're here for
By the way,
like 2
for
months out
those
of the year.
listeners that don't know, Rafa
she
is
turned
fast.
Ocean Club into a
Oh, yeah,
huge
Rafa's
college
Think about
frat
this.
house.
You think that you go to the pool and it's a bunch of like fratty people mixed with the lowest of the income people that are like barbecuing at the pool.
You mean
They're
Chola
like-
Beach?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying like mix a Dr. Dre video
Just
with
the
like any
lowest-
college campus in the South? That sounds fantastic.
just mix all that in. They're not gonna want to live there anymore. They're gonna flee the Ocean Club in a second. You know, and then when they see like their property values going down, they're gonna be like, jump ship. And then
That's pretty much what happened with Miami Beach, right?
and you've taken it over and you shut it down.
What did you tell me earlier today, Tanner, when we were leaving? When I saw you at 7-Eleven?
Oh yeah. There's three things. You know, we can always learn, dream, and die. That's basically what we're gonna do. It's the human race.
Oh, here's the dreaming.
I like the dreaming part of it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
right,
live
we're
too,
still-
but
we're still
learn,
talking
dream,
about our
like,
lot
you
of
can
money.
always learn, you can always dream, and you're gonna die eventually. So
It's 7:30 on this Wednesday, January 13th, 2016. It's the No One's Listening show. 305-361-8557 if you want to give us a shout, tell us something, talk to us a little bit.
Call
Or
in
just
with
send
some
us
trivia.
Yeah, or some trivia, text us, whatever. We'll mention you. And if not, does anybody else want to talk about anything? Do you want to talk about the art talk? Well, it's not
Art
really
talk?
art talk because it's really...
But it's still a cultural
Yeah.
conversation. That the Frost Museum has had to halt their construction because they ran out of money.
Yeah.
They had, I think it was 160 million
So
coming in
sad.
from tax money, but the rest was supposed to be private money. It was supposed to be fundraising, and they didn't reach their goal. And they tried to get financing, and they didn't get it. They didn't get the loan. So now today it was released that they had to halt construction, which I think is like $5 million every, I don't know, month. Does that make sense?
Sure, we'll
$5
buy
million a month? I don't know. But yeah, but you know, that's a problem for Pam too. Every time I go to Pam and I pass by the construction at the Frost, I'm like, this is so unpleasant to drive by. It's
Yeah.
like, and once Museum Park, and I'm saying this with quotation marks on my hands, once Museum Park is ready, it is going to be a nice project for the city. And so delaying this even more, whatever, whack.
What is the Frost?
The
That- I
Science
don't know what the
Museum.
Frost is.
The Science
Frost
Museum.
is a family that donated a lot
Yeah,
of money to
yeah.
get their name put on the old Museum of Science, and they're building a new Museum of Science.
And they closed the Grove
the
one already,
Frost
so that's
Museum.
another issue is that they already closed the Grove one.
I went
They
to
took,
like
the, they took the
station.
laser show.
They no more laser shows.
I went to the fundraising gala where they raised a whole bunch of money for it, and I think the Frost gave like like $100 million or something. I don't know
A
if that
lot.
much.
They gave
That's
a
why-
lot.
They gave a
That's
lot.
why.
They have a lot of
Yeah.
private funding for that too. So I smell fraud. I mean, there's going to be.
There's
If
no
they're out of
reason-
money already,
Dude,
that's serious.
With
because-
these huge projects,
There's no reason why like that, because that is a fantastic science
But
museum.
they did like a whole thing on their new logo, right? This whole thing was like to show off their new marketing logo. I want to know how much they spent on that thing because it was
so
sad.
I'm sorry, I looked it up so that I can correct myself. The work has not been interrupted, but it means that right now the museum lacks the cash to make a monthly payment of $5 million to $7 million due to its general contractor. So it is monthly, that $5 million.
That is unbelievable, man. That's like Jungle
And
Island.
unless someone
like,
steps in and they want to overpay what the Frost did, and like George Perez came into the PAM when the PAM was about to stop their construction, and that's why it's called PAM now and not MAM. Is because George Perez was like, nope, don't worry, I'm here to save the day. So unless someone like,
That's a good thing, though.
They gave him crap too
Sure.
for paying so little to get his name on it, right?
yeah, they did because it was not as much cash as the city had played, but in terms of the value of the artwork of his collection that he's donating to the city, then it was worth it. Let's say I'm putting that in quotations as well. I have a strong opinion about it, but yeah.
So how does it say how much money they need?
Damn, I'm gonna have to write it down quickly.
and it's like, meanwhile, in Brickell, you look at like all the, like, I mean, my banker buddies that I went to school with, when they come here, they look at Brickell and like all these huge like cranes and everything. They're like, that is the number one sign that there's a lot of money in this town, man.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been through Brickell lately, it is a lot of money going into Brickell right now, man. And it's a shame that like, something like a science museum can't get the funding to keep going like that,
Well, that they budgeted poorly. That's
This
the other
is
thing.
complicated.
Very poor.
So, the Jimenez administration, have devised some sort of subsidy program that would take up to $45 million coming from hotel and convention tax revenue. Okay, they would need $45 million to continue operation.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would
But
get them
then,
through
and
how
then the
many
museum
months?
would have to agree in exchange. The museum was to agree not to ask for operating help for 20 years. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, even if
Yeah.
you have an amazing endowment fund, you usually get some sort of government help to be able to have the operating costs taken care of. That's intense. So let's see what happens. This came out today, so maybe next week we'll have some more info.
So last thing I'll mention, because you mentioned
Great white shark.
Brickell, huh?
Great white shark.
No, we don't know anything about any great white sharks.
Bimini,
But you mentioned Brickell. The federal government opened a thing where they came down to Miami to say to the companies that sell, when you sell your home right now, all these cash buyers and stuff like
I
that.
saw that.
If you buy a place over $1 million cash, everything has to be tighter. The reporting has to be a lot tighter because the federal government came in and realized that a lot of these $1 million cash buyers are laundering money from.
No, get out, get out, Rav. Okay,
So-
let's look at the Key Biscayne. Wait.
You wait.
Oh, sorry.
So it makes me wonder, is this going to cause like an actual slowdown of things?
Absolutely.
Because if there's actually if it's so pervasive that the cash is really illegitimate, is it going to be noticeable, or is it just going to be, like maybe like 3, 4, 5% of
Wait, and I have
properties,
to
or is
know-
it going to be like 20% of properties are taking this money,
It's
illicit
not only
money?
Miami-Dade, it's Miami-Dade and New York, and that's who they're starting with.
Yeah.
So
Right,
New York
man.
and Miami-Dade, and then they're going to go out to other
I
cities.
saw this
that
months
are
ago.
prevalent here.
Like months ago, when this was months ago, they threw the red flag up, man, and immediately I saw a lot of houses in Key Biscayne go for sale. When this red flag came up, that hey, obviously, because you can't launder cash, it has to be through real estate. Look at the front page of the Key Biscayne paper. What does it say? Loans to foreign nationals.
Oh yeah, that's all.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, like that's an immediate market right there for people laundering money, and they can't launder it in cash, so obviously it gets laundered through real estate, So, about in the middle of summer, when the red flags with the banks and all that started to go up, I saw all these houses that had just been built that don't fit in the key, that are like complete monstrosities. They all went for sale, like overnight. It was like, oh wow, because that was people getting scared.
Yeah, that the money's
And
going to dry up.
So yeah, I mean, you're getting ready to see like the raw. rise
Yeah.
and fall of real estate is always going to happen in Miami, but it's getting ready to happen again, man.
It's good
sure.
for locals to a certain extent because you'll be able to afford things
I
if
hope
if
so,
it's that
man.
if it's really that pervasive that it,
It has
slows
to
everything
level
down.
out. I mean, everything here has to level out a little bit, man, for sure, because it's just out of control.
What are you thinking, Austin?
I mean, I think it'll definitely have an effect. I mean, Miami's always been built on laundered money. I mean,
Foreign cash.
that's nothing new. But what I read was that they're diving a little bit deeper. You can't buy condos through shell companies anymore.
Oh yeah.
That if you're going to buy it and it's through a shell company, then the Treasury Department or the federal government's going to ask who's insuring it, and they're going to find out who the actual owners are. That's not going to be public, but it's going to not allow people to just buy it anonymously. So it's going to affect a lot of like high net worth places, but it's not going to cause like a crash.
Not a
before.
crash, but
No, it'll prevent some people from selling multi-million-dollar condos.
We just want
With no
a
thought.
level.
I think,
You know.
honestly, I think it affects a lot of the Miami. Obviously, it's going to affect the Key a little bit, but I really think it affects more these new high rises that are being built that are targeting a foreign crowd. Not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much it's going to affect here. People have the ability to prove here that they have the money somehow. And for what reasons? I don't know. There's a loophole everywhere, but I think it's more the downtown Brickell crowd, honestly.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
So come out to the Calusa Club thing on Friday. It's at 7:30 at the Beach Club, and I don't think we have anything else. Do you guys want to say goodbye? On 3.
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
Thanks.
having me.
Great white sharks.
Where are the great?
Regular sharks.